All right. This is the NBA GOAT Mount Rushmore. 3 league MVPs, 3 finals MVPs. What's going on, basketball world? Comment, like, and share this video and get a chance to win a larger scale wallpaper of the background in the video, an action figure of Tracy McGrady, Magic Johnson, and a Chris Webber basketball card. So without further ado, let's get right into it. This is the NBA GOAT Mount Rushmore argument. So this is my NBA GOAT Rushmore display. A few years ago, maybe 2015, I did some research and I found that there were only 3 players to actually have the actual accolade, but there's some players with asterisks that have three league MVPs and 3 finals MVPs. As I continued my research, I found there were only also 4 players that had 2 and 2. And then I'll go through my book, but I think there's about 14 players that have 1 and 1. So this is my what I call GOAT criteria. And I want to put some substance to, what it means to be the GOAT in the conversation. So I said, okay, what is the biggest problem people have with comparing players as for the GOAT conversation as for the NBA? And the thing is eras. There's different eras, rules change, things. So I said, okay, so I'm going to take the basic fundamentals of basketball. I'm going to consider all eras. Obviously, I had to have a base foundation. So I used Michael Jordan and Bill Russell as a base foundation. So I found that both of them had, Michael Jordan had a certified at least 5 and 5 league MVPs and finals MVPs. Of course, I know he had 6 finals MVPs. So I said, okay, let's put that with Bill. If we just say that Bill Russell is the GOAT, then first of all, nobody's ever going to catch him. And it doesn't take into consideration the eras and the change of eras and how many teams were playing around the time Bill Russell was playing. There were much less teams. The Big Three era had been established way back in 2007-8 with Kevin Garnett, Ray Allen, and Paul Pierce joining forces in Boston. And then, of course, LeBron James just, blew the whole concept of Big Three joining up in 2010 when he went to join forces with Dwayne Wade and Chris Bosh in Miami. I said, out of your Big Three, if you were to win 3 championships, say, if they're together at least 3 years, that means you would expect for each of those players to win a finals MVP. So I said, if a Big Three forms and all 3 of those guys don't win a finals MVP and say only one wins it every time, okay, that player is the GOAT, okay? From Bill Russell's era all the way to Jordan's era, all the way to the current, LeBron eras. Why does Bill Russell have an asterisk? Of course, his is honors presumed, is what I call it, because, well, Bill Russell, when he was playing, the NBA hadn't made the finals MVP until 1969-1970 season. So, of course, all those MVPs that Bill Russell did have and all those championships, you can just presume he would have been projectedly the finals MVP also of those championship teams. And this is all NBA metrics, by the way. I'm not one to believe that the absolute best players always are in the NBA. So this is the NBA GOAT Rushmore, okay? Not basketball GOAT Rushmore. Anyways, I'm going to go into my collection and I'm going to give you more detailed about some of these things that I'm talking about. So that's how I got 3 and 3, considering all eras. This whole display isn't just about the GOAT Rushmore, as you can see. In 2014, before Black Lives Matter movement, before all the young athletes, which I think is amazing, decided they'd start considering HBCUs. Donald Sterling, the owner of the Clippers at the time, he got himself in trouble from a controversial call. And the biggest thing he said, you know, in the phone call, he said, and I'm paraphrasing, something to the effect of, don't come to my basketball games with black guys. And he said, I'm not the only one who thinks that. For me, every word you say matters. Nobody said that this guy just said that he's not the only person who thinks that. Now we have to think, what does that even mean? This guy is, first of all, a billionaire. So if he says that he's not the only one who feels, you know, people who are close to him shouldn't be showing up to basketball games with black people, his friends are billionaires, okay? And some it was bigotry. How did we become a people who dominate a culture, yet we're still not looked at in a respectable light? I said, you know, why have all these athletes been coming out of these big schools? And I said, oh, okay. So I said, HBCU, this is what black people need to do. They need to start coming out of the HBCU colleges so that we can not only build our reputation and standings in America as athletes or entertainers or pop culture, so to say, but as academics, as scholars, as people who can contribute to a productive society that advances humanity. The top academic school is Howard, so you see them there on the left, or I don't know if that's the right of your screen, behind Michael Jordan and LeBron James. And then NCA&T, that's the top athletic school. It's pretty prestigious academically as well. San Jose State I have there because when I got accepted into San Jose State, burgundy and gold one there, that's actually a high school, a universal school. It's a Islamic school. I feel like, you know, if there's young Muslims out there who are, you know, into athletics, why not go to these schools? So now I'm going to get into the second level. This is my card book. I decided to start this off with the names of Allah because, you know, I don't want to have none of this stuff and forget, you know, who the real master is, you know, who the real GOAT, who the real greatest is. Here is the GOAT section. It's also the great and legend section. So the notes here actually tell you exactly what you're going to be looking at. Row 1 is GOATs, basically. Row 2 is greats. Row 3 is what I consider legends. So I actually have 5 levels. Basketball, there's a starting lineup of 5 players. Again, GOAT is 3-3, great is 2-2, legend is 1-1, and then certified Hall of Famer, you have at least one league finals MVP or a finals MVP. So you just have basically one or the other. So a lot of the people you see in the Hall of Fame wouldn't make this criteria of Hall of Fame. And then a certified pro, you just play at least one regular season NBA game. So here I have, like I said, the rows, and this book is basically, well, actually I have a section off, but the 3 rows is perfect because the main things are 3-3, 2-2, and 1-1. Okay, those are the high accomplishment. And it's only, like I said, limited players that have these accomplishments. That's James Naismith, founder of basketball in 1891. And this is an order of achievement. And if, for example, Willis Reed is here. And this first page, I want a side note, this is amazing because on this first page, I got the greats, the GOATs, the legends, and included on this from all the years of basketball is at least one Muslim and one player from HBCU. So Kareem the Muslim, Willis Reed from HBCU. I put this in order from a number of achievements and of the accolades, the particular accolades, MVPs and finals MVPs. And also if you were tied, say like Willis Reed and Kevin Durant, they have the same amount, 2 and 1. And Kevin Durant's still playing, obviously, so he can advance up the ladder. He can go from here to here, but on this, so I call these the GOAT Rushmore of the GOATs. This is GOAT Rushmore. This level is Great Rushmore. So there was actually only 4 players here, and that's why I have the placeholders on the second page cutting off at 4. And these are the Legends Rushmore. So like I was saying, Kevin Durant, he can only advance up to the great level. he can never overcome Willis Reed in the Legends. Why? Because Willis Reed achieved his 1-and-1 in just 10 years. Whereas Kevin Durant took, I think, 12, 13 years or something to achieve his 1-and-1. So that's how I did that. Hakeem Olajuwon. I haven't filled this book in, which actually it's a shame I started this video before I did. All these open spots here, I wanted to fill with more names of Allah because I don't have enough of these patches. I was gonna carve up a few more patches and put them in and then fill the rest. And these are the 4 to achieve the great level: Tim Duncan, Kareem Abdul, Jabar, Larry Bird, and George Mikan. The legend Rushmore is Shaquille O'Neal, Kobe Bryant, Willis Reed, and Kevin Durant. And then, by extension, the players on the legend row, they have more than just 4. Unlike the GOAT and the GREAT, there's actually only 4 players to have achieved those. So the Legends has more players. So you see Hakeem starting that off there. Wilt Chamberlain, Moses Malone, Bill Walton, Wes Unseld, Dirk Nowitzki. I believe that's Bob Cousy. I have that's an autographed Bob Cousy, by the way. Bob Pettit, Paul Arizin, and finally this is Dolph Schayes. Anybody who knows me back in 2008, 2009, I watched Stephen Curry in the tournament, in the March Madness tournament. This guy walked up in one game, don't remember the game, who he was playing. All I know is this stuff is facts. And shoot like 4 threes from NBA range, maybe even a foot behind NBA range, like 4 threes in a row. So from there, I said, this guy, he's the best player in the draft. And basically that was that. There's a reason why I was looking for a player like that in particular. I'm a Warriors fan, and I'm going to talk about why that's important for that time. We'll tell people like, hey, this guy, he's going to be a better shooter than Ray Allen. Now, I knew that for a fact with full conviction. Anybody who knows me knows this for a fact at the time. That I said that at the time, I wasn't hearing his name though. His name, the name that was going around for the draft, #1 pick and everything, the name was Blake Griffin. And so, you know, I'm thinking, okay, this guy, he's like whoever this light-skinned kid is, he's going to go in the second round. I didn't even know his name, actually. I just watched, I was like, that kid, light-skinned kid, number 30 from Davidson, that kid is raw. That's who we want. I figured, you know, maybe we'll get him in the second round, the Warriors. I was hoping the Warriors liked him. I said, we'll get him in the second round because he was our type of guy only. And we were the only team playing this style. So like I said, I'll get into that. So that's why I assumed we would pick him up maybe in the second round. Sure enough, we ended up drafting him number 7 overall. I promise you, once we drafted him, I called my little brother just to have that on a personal record. You know, I called him, I said, bro, we just got the best player in the draft. Basically, Steph Curry became that. That's what this next page is about. This next page has my draft pick players for each year that I called myself doing scouting reports on all the top players in the draft or watched college basketball. So for these 2 years, I watched college basketball and I picked these 2 guys as the best players in the draft. Stephen Curry, obviously I just explained that. And I had Cleanthony Early, him at Wichita. They got like to the Sweet 16 and he was busting. Fred VanVleet too was on that team with him. Yeah, they were both busting. But I felt like Cleanthony Early was going a little bit harder and they got eliminated. They gave actually Fred VanVleet the last shot, and I was thinking, man, they should have gave it to Cleanthony Early. And the next time was the draft of Trae Young. And so, you know, I had Trae Young better than Luka Doncic, all those guys in that draft, DeAndre Ayton. He was just an electric college basketball player. Pull up from anywhere, running down court full speed, throwing alley-oops to his team. Trae Young this year is advancing to the second round, something Luka hasn't done, although Luka has gone to 2 playoffs. Trae Young advances to the second round in his first playoffs. The year of Kobe White, I felt like he was the best all-around player to progress within some years. You know, Zion Williams was obviously the best player. So for me, let me explain. My conclusion on these guys, any of these guys being the best players, was not only skill. There's no such thing as a GOAT that was injured. Yeah, so I took all those things into account. And, you know, I assumed that Zion, given his weight and everything and his athleticism, how hard he goes, I figured, you know, he's probably got 10, 12 years in the NBA, good years. So I said, over time, like consistently, I figured Kobe White might be the best player in his draft. Jabar come out and play so far, and right now I would have to say he's a better player than Kobe White. And he looks electrifying and like he's here to stay without injuries or anything. LaMelo Ball. The top two players in that draft was Wiseman and LaMelo. But if I had to choose on longevity, I was going to go with LaMelo. So this is how I'm doing my draft. And longevity, I'm going with Melo. And, you know, some people, they argue, oh, this is Lonzo Ball 2.0. No, I said, look, you got to watch this kid. You got to watch some tape on him. He can actually score the ball these days. Like, not just score it like high school phenom, ball is life, LaMelo Ball highlights. Like, and finally, this upcoming draft, we'll see. This is one that hasn't happened yet, but I got Jalen Green coming out. So you were seeing through the page here, this actual second page of my draft are kind of like, you know, I didn't watch Chris Paul's draft class. So this isn't necessarily people that I picked as draft classes. This is the second. So this section includes players in which I project Abdul best player in their draft prior to actually being drafted, etc. And then also it has, plus in addition, my last of a dying breed, NBA golden era starting five, GOAT standard. And what does this mean and what did I do with this? Basically, that we all know Stephen Curry, as much as I touted for him coming out of college, he ruined the game. And I didn't expect for him to be a MVP. Like his second year, he really started becoming a great passer. I said, oh, this kid's going to win us championships. And then he would get hurt. And I'm like, they would try to play him. And I'm like, no, if you want to win championships, don't. Exes at the time, I guess, allegedly, Klay Thompson tried to talk to her. And they were like bragging about it on Facebook and stuff. And I'm like, look, this is on the record. These people know. I said, hey, Klay Thompson gonna be making that money. He playing with my boy Steph Curry. They're gonna be winning championships soon. Before Stephen Curry ruined the game, the mid-range game and all-around game was kind of like where the dominant players thrive. Kobe Bryant's, you know, the era. And I love that era of basketball. Now it's just drive and get a layup, you know, or if you feel it's too crowded in the paint, kick it out to the three and shoot the three. And, you know, while it's exciting when it's your team doing it, winning, I will give you that 100% NBA, but it's not exciting basketball at all. CP has the Kobe mentality, like, you know, that Mamba mentality, I feel like, and with the IQ of, say, a Magic Johnson, Devin Booker, everybody who knows basketball in the NBA, that's Kobe 2.0. Enough said. I call Kawhi Leonard, I call him literally Kobe, Jordan, LeBron. Why do I say that? Because he has the strength of LeBron James. He has like get to his moveness with ease, dominating a player or not having a dominator player like Jordan. And, you know, his mid-range game can look Kobe-esque when he gets dialed in. Zion Williamson, though he is an undersized power forward, if you watch him play, you know he's like the closest thing to Shaq that the NBA is probably going to see for a long time. And LaMarcus Aldridge, I got him because he was like the closest thing to Tim Duncan that I could find. Third section is the HBCUs, and these are the top players from old who went to HBCUs. Sam Jones, you got Al Attles, and Larry Spriggs. And there's a few HBCU players actually right now. I know Robert Covington is one. I think there's another one. Al Attles was drafted legit first or second round, I believe. And then Sam Jones has the second most NBA titles, which is why that just titles isn't the standard here. Actually, I should have mentioned that in the beginning of the video. Why did I pick MVPs, league MVPs, and finals MVPs? Because domination of the NBA for the regular season and the postseason. The MVP award is a media award, a voted on award. It's no real metric that, you know, says, okay, this is the MVP. Nonetheless, the awards capture the dominance of certain players in their time and in their era. Now, finally, this section includes players that I share a personal connection or similarity to, or are my favorite players, or from my favorite team. I like their style, spirituality, lifestyle in general. Basically, this is my favorite section. So this isn't thing. I don't have a section for the last two levels, people with one of either, because people like Charles Barkley, Karl Malone, things like that would be in that section. So, you can do your own research on all the MVPs and finals MVPs and develop your own top opinion players. But we drafted Stephen Curry because primarily this man, for you Warrior fans today who don't know, who is this man? That is Don Nelson. Okay, we believe Warriors. Our play style those years was Don Nelson's philosophy was, I don't care who you are, Andres Biedrins. I mean, I'm exaggerating, but if you're Andres Biedrins out there and they leave you wide open for a three, take the 3-point shot. So we were just jacking threes. There were only two teams in the league at the time playing what today's NBA basically is and looks like. And basically those teams continue to form the current NBA, play fast pace and the 3-point shot. So that's why the NBA looks more like the Warriors rather than just Mike D'Antoni's fast paced style. But Monte Ellis, Warrior for life, got it tatted on him. The Warriors, because this is my favorite team, and about the year 2000, 2001 is when I got into loving basketball. Actually, there's my trophy, which I'll talk about some stuff about that. Play for the Oakland Rebels. I signed it with my number, my signature, and the year I signed it just to make it look cool. But yeah, this Baron Davis card is a limited edition, 74 out of 79. Pistol Pete, Isaiah Thomas, Reggie Miller, Ben Simmons, and then modern day Isaiah Thomas representing for the short guys. Then I got Larry Hughes. I didn't play with Damian Lillard, but he played for the Oakland Rebels. Like, love for the game is not questioned with Dame. Like, Cap Jack, he made it to his specific spot. Well, not only because he's a We Believe Warrior, because he recently converted to Islam. Kemba Walker, that's a special one. Why? Because if any play style of NBA players that I've ever watched, he resembles my play style most. I wasn't always the greatest shooter. In 2009, I developed a jump shot so much so that I would argue that I have the best jump shot in my family. Joel Embiid, that guy reminds me of Hakeem. Clint Azabuki. Man, if you know the We Believe Warriors, man, this dude 6'5" maybe. Bro, in the paint, we miss a shot, one of those 3-point shots we busting up. Clint Azabuki going hard on dude 6'8", 6'9", getting a board. Like, move, bro. Kyrie, he made it quickly because he's a Muslim. Brandon Ingram, I got him in here mostly because, 1 year I just saw him play and I said, this kid's gonna be good. Bob Sir, early 2000s Warriors, is one of my autos. The last page, Muggsy Bogues holding it down for the short folk. 5'3" in the NBA. And finally Mike Bibby. So that concludes. Talk about some of those banners that I chose down there. AI. I got the 76ers banner because, as I mentioned, AI was the first player that inspired me to love basketball and try to emulate a player at the Warriors home team. Detroit Pistons, because Detroit has the highest concentration of black people, and just outside of Detroit, in the Detroit metropolitan area, is the highest concentration of Muslims in America. In that Michigan, Detroit area. And the Sacramento Kings, your boy was born in Sac. So that's a birth home team.